Welcome to another tutorial. If you're new here, my name is Roberta, but you can call me Ruby. I'm an illustrator and photographer based in Rome, Italy, and today I have a new tutorial for you. As requested on my How I Draw Faces video, if you haven't watched that, you can click here or here. Here. You can learn new techniques and easy techniques of how I draw faces. And today I'm going to talk about how I draw parts of the faces. So eyes, nose, and mouth. It's a beginner's tutorial. It's easy, simple. If you don't know how to draw, don't worry. We're going to learn together, study together. I'm always studying and improving my art. So we're gonna be in this journey. I'm gonna use my iPad and an Apple Pencil, and the program I'm gonna use is called Procreate. But you can feel free if you wanna use digital art or traditional art, pencil, paper, whatever you have, just join me and let's do it. And I'm gonna divide this tutorial into two parts. The first one being how I draw eyes and eyebrows, and how I draw from expression guidelines. And the second tutorial is going to be how I draw nose and mouth. So let's start with part 1, eyes and eyebrows. Let's start talking about expression. To draw eyes and eyebrows, you really need to focus on expressions. Here I have some reference photos, and now what we are gonna do is just observing the direction of the face, and I'm gonna draw over some guidelines that will help you draw the eyes and the eyebrows. Again, I have a full video on how I draw faces. On that video, I explain the guidelines that I'm talking about. So I'm going to kind of draw a mask so we can kind of see what's the expression that this girl has. So when I'm drawing the eyebrows, instead of just drawing straight eyebrows, I'm going to draw as the direction of this mask. Again, here I'm gonna draw kind of another mask. So this girl is making a silly face, so we do want to project that into her expression, and we do want to draw that. So pay attention to these details before you start drawing. Okay, here I have some faces. I'm gonna draw the guideline so I can know where I'm gonna draw the eyes, nose, and mouth. To do that, I'm gonna start with this one so you can see what I mean. I need to first draw some lines as a reference. So here, when there is this intersection of the jaw and the circle, I'm gonna draw a line. And then here, where there is the intersection of the vertical line and the circle, I'm gonna draw another line, which is gonna be the nose. And here, where there is this curve of the jaw, I'm gonna draw another line, which is kind of where it doesn't need to be perfect, but it's kind of like a reference for you. So I'm gonna draw the mouth. So again, here the intersection, kind of here. Sorry, here. A little lower than that. Another line here for the nose and for the mouth. And I'm gonna repeat this process here. Okay, to draw the eyes, I actually make another line down and another line on top of this line that will be the guide for the eyes. On that way, I can actually know where the upper lid of the eye and the bottom lid will be. I'm gonna lower the opacity so you can kind of see what I mean. So the upper lid, I'm gonna draw starting from the upper line. I put less pressure in the beginning and more pressure at the end, so you can kind of have this eyeliner effect. Instead of, if you only do a one stroke, a very high pressure stroke, you're gonna end up with this. But what we want to do is like follow this flow of starting the eyeliner very thin, putting pressure, and ending it as a thin line. I'm gonna do the corner, the outer corner, the bottom eyelid, and the iris. This depends where you want your illustration to be looking at. So in this case, straight, but you can do on the corner so the character is looking this direction, or you can make the iris looking at that direction. Okay, that's the reference, and you can actually make like the eyes bigger depending on what style you want your character to be. If it's a young adult, if it's an adult, if it's an old person, child, it can depend. The bigger the eyes, more childish and cuter the drawing is going to be. So you can play around that. Basically, that's what I do. I draw 3 lines. The upper line is going to be a reference for the upper lid, and the bottom line is going to be a reference for the bottom lip. And this depending where the intersections from the circle. I'll show you how I draw eyebrow. I do it at first as a whole shape. I don't do one hair at a time. I do it as a one shape first, and then I just fill in. If I want to draw more hair, I can just do it. The shape of the eyebrow is going to depend on the expression, but normally I just do a shape. That can be very squared, or it can be very round. Just depends on what shape you want. Let's now check the references that we were looking before. So you can see here, if I draw the line and then another line for the upper lid and another line. Of course, this is a real photo, so it's not gonna exactly follow the lines that I showed you earlier, because I don't do realistic drawing. I do more of a character illustration, but just so we can see the reference. Here you can see that the outer corner and the inner corner is on this direction. So that's one shape of the eye. So you kind of have to understand what shape you want to draw. On this one, for example, it's pretty straight. So to make one example for you, you can actually draw eyes that the outer corner and the inner corner is on the same line. Or if you want to do like a more Asian style, the inner corner is going to be in a different direction. You can kind of play around and experience, but you do want to pay attention also on what type of eyes you want to draw. Let's start practicing together. So I start with the upper lid. So this is kind of like the general eye that I do. But if you want to do kind of like the eyes a little bit closed and not fully open, draw the eyeliner lower and the iris not showing that much. And then I'm going to draw the lid so you can kind of see that the eyes is not fully opened. Let's do another one. So yeah, you can play around and see what kind of eye you want to do. Let's do one more. Okay, now let's see another direction of the eye actually. In this case, it's not a front side view, it's more of an angled view. The eyes here, I'm not gonna draw a full eye because it's not gonna look good. This part, it shows less than this part. Here I'm gonna draw smaller eye, and here I'm gonna draw kind of like a normal one. Make sure your drawings are okay. Just flip and check. And then again, I'm gonna do like just a line here. And then I'm gonna start with the eyebrow. eyebrows. I want this one to actually be a little mad. So I drew the eyebrows like that. That's how I draw it. So just a shape. It can be squared, it can be round. The more upper the eyebrow is, the more your character is gonna look mad. And if you want, you just have to check references. If you want your character to look sad or worried or silly or mad, just look at references and look what direction of the eyebrow is. I'm actually going to create another version of this one, and this time I'm gonna make this character look on that direction. And actually I'm gonna do like her eyes is not fully open. Secret one. Wait. On this one, I want her to be looking upward, so that's what I'm gonna draw. Wait. In this case, what I do is I draw the upper lid and then the iris, the lid here, some more details. So if I'm doing a profile, if she's looking straight, I make sure that her lid is not super round, but it's a very oval shape. And then I draw some other details of the lid. And then the eyebrow, one shape again. And then this eyebrow, I forgot, I'm just gonna do like she's sad maybe or worried. This is how I draw eyebrows and eyes, and this is the reference that I look at. But these are the things that you can have in mind. First, you draw your face sketch, then you draw the lines for reference as a guide. You can actually draw the expression guideline too, and then you can start drawing the eyes. Now let's start drawing some other eyes. like this tutorial, write in the comments down below what tutorials you would like to see next, and I'm happy to make it for you. It was easy, simple. Follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. I post my final illustrations there, and subscribe here on my YouTube so you don't miss any new videos. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to see you on the next video.